Hey guys, I really wanted to show you how I made my Minions costumes for my dogs for Halloween this year. For starters, you're going to need some felt. I just got this at the dollar store in blue, yellow, and black. You are also going to need some foam pieces in blue, yellow, and black, some scissors, some yellow thread, some chalk, some googly eyes, some Velcro, a hot glue gun, and let's get started. So here I'm just taking the blue Velcro, and these are some stencils that I actually made myself just on white computer paper. I measured my dogs and cut out the sizes of what they would need in overalls and their shirt. So I'm just laying it flat here, and I'm going to trace with the chalk and then cut it out. So here I'm just tracing with chalk. This is actually so easy to do. You just trace out what you want on a stencil with a pencil, cut it out, and then transfer it onto the fabric. The fabric was super cheap. I got it at the dollar store. In total, I think I spent like less than $6 on this entire costume. It did take me about an hour to make each costume, but they were so cheap, it was totally worth it. They also turned out super duper adorable. And I was looking on Amazon. I was originally going to buy a Minions costume, but they were so expensive, like $60 to $70 for a dog costume, that I knew I could make myself if I just bought some material at the dollar store. And honestly, it was so cheap and turned out just as adorable. So here we have the overalls cut out, and they look super cute. I'm just going to put them to the side. Next, we are cutting out the shirt. So here's the shirt stencil. Again, I'm just going to trace that with my chalk and then cut it out. Depending on the size of the dog that you're making the costume for, you may need more or less material. I just happen to be lucky in that my dogs are pretty small, so I didn't have to buy very much fabric, and it was pretty quick and easy to make their costumes. If you have like a huge dog, like a German Shepherd or something, you might have to spend a little extra money to get more material, and it might take you a bit more time, but still a super fun project. So I'm just cutting out the shirt here with my scissors. It's going to be super adorable. I got this felt at my local dollar store. They sold packages in pretty much every color, but I got the pack of yellow for $1, the pack of blue for $1, the pack of black for $1, and I honestly didn't even use half of what came on the roll for these costumes. Like I said, my dogs are pretty small. If you have a bigger dog, you might have to use the whole thing or maybe buy 2 rolls, but still super cheap, super affordable. And felt is like a thicker material, so it makes for like a really sturdy costume. I want to make the style costume that it kind of looks like it's just hanging off the dog's front. So I wanted it to be, not too flimsy, and I want it to kind of stand up straight when you're looking at them. Just cutting out their hands now. So we're using the black felt and tracing the hand stencil on with our chalk. Again, you just need like the tiniest amounts of black, so I'm going to have tons of material left over. I'm going to save it and maybe make some more costumes or, make another type of craft. I'm not sure yet. But there's the first hand, so cute. And I just made these stencils myself. I found a picture of a minion online and just kind of eyeballed what their hand and body looked like and traced it out on computer paper, cut it out, and that's what I'm using to trace onto the fabric. Just cutting out the second hand here. And And now we're going to be doing the head. So this is another stencil that I cut out. We're going to trace it 2 times and then cut it out and start sewing it together. So here I'm just tracing it. I made it like a concave or kind of oval shape towards the bottom because I want it to sit snugly around the top of my dog's head. If it were just flat across, it wouldn't take the shape of my dog's head very well. That's why I cut it into kind of a concave or, oval type shape. It almost looks like a half moon actually. And we're just going to cut that out. There's the first head, first piece of the head. We'll cut out the second piece. I really wanted to not do this as so much of a voiceover. I wanted to leave it so you could hear the cutting sounds and everything, but I was filming in my kitchen. It was pretty noisy. So we're just going to take the 2 pieces for the head and put them together, make sure everything lines up. And then we're going to be taking our yellow thread. This is actually almost beige, but it was the closest I had to yellow. And we're just going to sew it together all around the outside. This is probably, the sewing is probably like the longest part. You could use a sewing machine. I do have a sewing machine, but I don't like taking it out for such little projects. I would just rather do it by hand, just because I don't have like a sewing space to work in. So it's a lot of work to like dig it out and set it up. So small projects I do just sew by hand. It's easier for me, but it would be way quicker definitely to just use a sewing machine if you have one. I also don't mind sewing by hand. It's kind of relaxing for me. Some people like to knit to relax. I kind of like to do sewing like for the same reason. Just sit down and kind of concentrate on one small thing. It's a little bit therapeutic. I do like doing it. Definitely more therapeutic than digging out my giant sewing machine and setting it up and having wires everywhere. And they're noisy. It's just, I like this better, especially for a small project. So we're just going to sew all the way around. We're getting there. The last little bit. So when we get to the bottom part, we're going to do halfway on each side and then leave a centerpiece about 1.5 inches wide. We need to leave that open so we can turn the head inside out, and we're also going to need that hole so we can put the stuffing in. We're kind of making like a stuffed animal head here, so we're going to leave a little 1.5 inch space. See, just like that, 1.5 inch hole. And here I'm turning it inside out. The reason you turn it inside out is to hide the stitches and just to make it look more neat. So we're just turning it inside out here, and you want to make sure you get the corners really turned out. And yeah, now we have our 1.5 inch hole, and we are going to take our excess material. So you can see off to the side, I have a bunch of excess yellow material. We're going to be using that to stuff it. But first, we're going to be just putting on his little eye mask. So I'm just using a thin strip of black felt here, cutting it to fit. And we're going to hot glue that on. I burnt myself so many times with that hot glue gun filming this. It was crazy. And then the eyes, the googly eyes. If you can't find googly eyes, you could definitely make eyes just out of fabric, but I really wanted to go with the googly eyes to make it look, more true to a minion's face. But if you can't find them, you could definitely just make it out of fabric. Isn't that cute? Oh, here I'm also making a little mouth, so I'm just freehanding this. If you're not comfortable to do that, you could always make a mouth piece out of like a stencil on paper, but I'm just freehanding it with my scissors. There you go. So cute. Hot glue gun that mouth on. This is definitely a part where I burnt my fingers too. Be careful if you're using a hot glue gun. They get very hot. So cute. So like I said, we're just taking the excess fabric and we're using that to stuff it. You could use like cotton batting, but that would just be like more expensive to buy and I didn't have any on hand. So I just thought to save money and to have less waste, we're just going to use our excess material and it worked great. Just stuff it up. And we had lots of excess fabric, so we're just gonna fill it up as much as we can. The more you fill it, the better it's gonna stand on your dog's head as well. Be nice and thick and sturdy and stand up straight the more fabric you put inside. So then once we have him all filled up with the excess fabric, we are going to sew across that space that we left open just with our yellow thread. Just a few quick stitches. Cut off the extra. And there we go, isn't that cute? Next, we're going to take our Velcro and we are going to use that to make the band to go around your dog's chin. So I'm just tracing the Velcro to make the width of the band and then cutting that out. So you see there, that's how it's going to fasten around your dog's chin. So we're just going to cut the Velcro to size, make sure it's the same length for each side, and attach it with your hot glue gun. This Velcro is like sticky. It has like a sticker backing, but I was worried that it wouldn't hold for very long, so I did use the hot glue as well just for extra strength. And then we're going to glue it onto the bottom of the minion's head. And just again using the hot glue gun. And make sure it's attached really well. There you go. That goes onto your dog's head and the strap goes around your dog's chin. Next, we are taking our foam and we're going to use this as a backing on the felt costume just to make it a little more stiff. So when your dog is walking or sitting, the costume is propped up nicely. If we just use the felt, it's going to be like too flimsy. It's going to flop around. So just to make it a little thicker and make the costume stand up nicer, we're just going to back it with some foam. And the foam's super cheap, $1. I got a whole pack of it, $1, I think, and 50 cents for like a whole pack of like rainbow colors. And there was like I think like 3 pieces of each color in it, so super affordable and a great way to back your costume. You could also use, like, if you didn't want to get the foam, I'm sure you could use cardboard or something similar, but I thought this would be the best way. So we're just going to attach that to the back of the shirt using the hot glue gun. Again, careful not to burn your fingers. My fingers, oh my gosh, I burnt them so much. I was trying to like film and go quickly and I kept touching the glue. It was so bad. And then the same thing, we backed the trousers or the overalls with the blue foam. I skipped over that because it was just like a little tedious to watch, but I just cut the blue foam to fit and hot glued it on. And then we're hot gluing it onto the shirt, pressing it down to make sure everything stays. Then we're taking some black felt and we're just going to use that to line the bottom of the legs. This is what the costume looked like on the website that I was looking at when I was picking like how I wanted to design my costume. So there was just like a black cuff around the bottom of the pant leg. I'm not sure if it was supposed to represent a cuff on the pant or a boot, but I'm just going based off the image that I saw. Then we're going to be backing the hands. So we're just going to trace those out with our chalk and cut them out. I find it so satisfying to cut things and to watch people cut things. What do you guys think? I think that's like something a lot of people find, satisfying, especially if you like stay right on the lines. And we're just going to hot glue those on. Very cute. All right, and there we have it. There's our minion's body. And our little minion's head. So cute. Next, we are going to have to put a collar around the back just to go around your dog's neck. So I'm just using a black piece of felt and again some Velcro pieces, and we're going to make it into like just a little collar that you can fasten around your dog's neck so he can wear the costume. I definitely burnt my fingers during this part. I remember I think I had to pause it to cry a little. And there we go, just like a collar. And we're going to fasten it to the back just using our hot glue gun. And that just clips around your dog's neck like a collar, and then the costume hangs down his front. And it looks like he's actually a minion when he's walking. It's so cute. And yeah, there we have it. Our little Minions costume and the Minions hat came out so adorable, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial on how I made my Minions costumes. Check out the boys.